Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Brett Dascom from Geospatial Connect, and I'm recording an interactive lesson today for GTAQ to support the lessons they're developing for teachers around Queensland. So what I've done is I'm video recording what I would present to people when they're doing this particular lesson. So the lesson's already written and is available through GTAQ. But I've also done a few other layers for you to practice with your students on. So we've got 5 layers there: Russia, Colombia, Brazil, Indonesia, and Cambodia. We're going to work in the Brazilian one today. But where do I get this data? So the data I'm looking at is percent tree cover loss since 2000 and the average tree cover loss per year since 2000 in hectares. And what we're using is we're using Mongo Bay data. So here's the data sets. Here's admin boundaries, which are admin 1 boundaries. So I've captured the shape files for each of those countries, and then I've populated those shape files with the data that's available at this website in those particular layers. What that looks like is we open up that website, web address, and we come to this particular project. Now I'm just going to turn off both layers, and you see there's nothing. Now as I turn those layers on, we have shape files, and behind those shape files is the data. Now for you to manipulate that data, we need to have the blue line highlighted in the map viewer. Now I only use map viewer, not the classic anymore, because Esri's shifted all the function across, which makes it easier to use. Now for this one we're doing average tree cover loss. So we're going to hit the average tree cover loss. You see we have a check there, and we have it automatically changing the style of the map data. We're going to hit style options. Not a big fan of a big brown circle. We're going to go there. You can hit the basics. You can do Firefly, government, public safety. You can scroll down and have a look at what options you have. You can even load your own. But we're going to go basic shapes. I don't particularly like the color, so I'm going to do something more appropriate. And I want to create an outline as well. So I'm going to go a darker color in the outline. Done, and then the transparency is quite high, so as I take the transparency down, you can see I've got a dark line around my data sets. Now I'm going to stay there because as you can see, the data is not collated. So what we're going to do is scroll down in the style options and hit classify data. Now that automatically classifies the data into 4 classes of equal intervals. Not too happy with the size of the icons, so I'm going to go up to 15, but I'm also going to go up to 50 just to highlight the changes. Now I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to go done, done, but I'd like to see a label, and I'll just extend that. I'd like to see a label, so I'm going to go into labels. Because I've already created a label, this automatically creates, but I know that name 1 is the admin. If I go to name 0, it will, and replace, it will just go to Brazil. So we want admin 1 to match the admin areas, replace. You can also edit the label. So we can go there, we can change the font, the size, the color, where it actually sits. So you can see as I move this around, the offset changes. So what is most appropriate? I'm going to go just to the south, 0. I'm pretty happy with that. So that's as easy as you get with labeling. Now I'm going to turn the other layer on by simply clicking on the eye, hide layer, show layer. And I'm going to turn that layer off so we've got a clean look at what we're doing for the next layer. Now you see I've clicked on the Brazilian percent layer, and I'm now able to work in that layer. So I'm going to hit field again. This time we are doing percent tree cover loss in 2000, and a checkbox appears and I hit create. Again, a graduated symbol appears, but we want a chlorophyll map. Not very happy with that chlorophyll map. It's really not what I'm looking for. I am looking high to low, but I'm looking for a style change. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to look for a style that I'm happy with. You could go brown to green, but I don't know that that's a graduated color. I'm going to choose a green. Now that is low to high in the color ramp, so we need to flip the color ramp, and you see now the darker the color, the higher the percentage loss, the lower the color, the lower the percentage loss. So I'm more than happy with that. I'm going to click there. I want a darker outline of my area, and done. And I'm going to reduce the transparency so I get a clear view of where my areas are. I'm pretty happy with that, and I'm going to go down and I'm going to classify the data again. So you can see there it changes automatically. As soon as I hit classify data, I get natural breaks, number of classes. There's 4 classes. I can make it 5 or 6, but I'm happy with the 4. I can make it manual breaks, or I can hit the quantile, which is a standard deviation, equal intervals, but I'm happy with that. I'm going to make sure that I have color ramp in one of the color ramps in every one of the areas. So the lowest, yes. So I've got color ramps in I've got admin boundaries in all the classes of color ramps. So I'm pretty happy with that. The next thing I'm going to do here is just a trick I haven't put into the written lesson. Now, the blending appearance, this works well with this particular background, so you can change the backgrounds as well. I'm going to go blending. I'm going to go down to multiple blending, and you can see it's just made it see-through, and you can see Amazon basin here, Brazil, the highlands, so we can actually have a look at underneath the map and see what's going on there, which I think is really important and makes this map even more sophisticated than it already is. I'm going to turn that layer back on, and you can see now we have a very good map to be able to put into a map and print it out for our IA1. So what we're going to do now, both our layers are on, we can check our legend here. Happy with our legend. We're going to go down here and print map. It will automatically go to the name of the map, so it's really important to check the title because that's the title that will appear above your map. Here we're going to page setup. I would always recommend A3 if you've got lots of data sets. We're going to do portrait. Now this is choosing the correct or the most appropriate way to display the data. Landscape would be for wide data sets that you need to fit across the page, whereas portraits, it's a more vertical data set. So we're going to click portrait, and then we're going to choose a file format. We're going to JPEG today. We're ready to go. Advanced options. We're going to put our names in the author. I'm going to put my initials, and then I'm going to click on include legend and include north arrow, and then I'm simply going to export the data. This will give you a JPEG of your map. All the data will be on that, and we'll click on that in a second to have a look at the map that we've produced. There we go. You've got your legend, the date you've created the map, you've got a north arrow, you've got scale and who created the map, and a title. The only thing missing really is the outline of the map, the border, and we'll fix that up in a moment. I'm going to go back, and we're going to go back in here. I'm going to show you a little extra trick. So set scale, that was quite small on the page. So for us to make that larger on the page, we need to decrease the scale. The first two numbers were 3.6, we're going to go 2.0. And then we're simply just going to export the map again. This is going to help you fill the page and make the data more visible. So I'm going to click on that one. You can see it's much larger. I'm going to click on the one I created first, and then the one I've created now. Much better data set, much easier to read, and you can do that for all your maps. The next step, if you're happy with your map, is to right click and copy image. Then we're going to open a Word document. I'm going to start a new Word document, and I'm simply going to go to layout, change the margin. You change the orientation if you were doing a landscape, but that's simply going to dump my map in there. Now, simple tip to finish: format picture, solid line. We can increase the size of that line and close that. And we're ready to send that off to our teacher for our IA1. We may even analyze the data, talking about probably Mato Grosso as one of the most affected administration boundaries by deforestation. Thanks for listening. I hope that helps, and enjoy your mapping. See you next time.